Good evening. Chilling details have been revealed in the caution statement given by 23-year-old Rashane Barnett, the man accused of killing a woman and her 4 children in Cocopies, Clarendon last month. Barnett yesterday pleaded guilty to murdering Kamisha Wright and her 4 children, 15-year-old Kimanda Smith, 11-year-old Shirley Smith, 5-year-old Raphael Smith, and 23-month-old Kishon Henry. Meanwhile, the findings of the post-mortem also revealed in court. It has been reported that Kamisha Wright received 48 incised wounds in the region of her neck, chest, abdomen, and limbs. Causing of death is hemorrhage and shock, and multiple sharp force injuries. 23-month-old Kishon Henry Jr. had 11 incised wounds, inclusive of a wound to the neck, which the doctor described as a cut-throat injury. 15-year-old Kimanda received 9 incised wounds and 4 stab wounds. 12-year-old Shirley Smith received 22 incised wounds and 2 scratches with a cut-throat wound to the neck. 5-year-old Raphael Smith received 5 incised wounds and a gaping wound to the upper anterior neck. The prosecution intends to prepare victim impact statements for the family members. And Mello TV will bring you more on this story in subsequent newscasts. In other news, the private sector organization of Jamaica, the PSOJ, in partnership with the Jamaica Constabulary Force, launched a $2 billion 5-year social transformation and renewal initiative dubbed Project STAR this week. Community change is said to be the main focus of Project STAR. The launch of the $2 billion crime-fighting initiative highlights clear intentions to make a positive difference in at-risk Jamaica. Co-chair of Project STAR and chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, Keith Duncan, says it is a partnership encouraging everyone to help the nation's youths. Project STAR, which is short for Social Transformation and Renewal, aims to change the negative mindset in the youths in volatile communities. Commissioner of Police Major General Anderson, a panelist at the launch, says he is grateful for the opportunity to join the project.
Grateful and blessed to be a part of this, of STAR program. And beyond that, although I didn't come here, as you say, with the commissioner hat, but I feel grateful and blessed to be leading the JCF at this time. It's a tough time for us.
Yes. Yes.
But I'm grateful and blessed to be doing it. You know why?
Yes.
Because somebody has to be the rock for those police officers out there who every day are in the community, engaging the community in a way that caused and attracted the attention of the private sector.
Yes.
To join with us, to continue and build on that relationship we have with the community. The truth of the matter is, when the cameras are gone, when there are no interviews, when the schools are shut for the night, we are there and the people are there. We experience their pain and we see it firsthand. So even on our dark days and our rough times, we are reaching out to support communities. I think this STAR initiative is a way of expanding that. It has a natural synergy with what we do. I have 100+ youngsters down in Westmoreland from all over the country going through a process, a camp with us.
Yes.
I have 200+ school resource officers in schools mentoring youngsters. We are problem solvers.
Yes.
And when we see a problem in a community, we want to fix it because we see the result when it is not fixed.
Major General Anderson says the JCF has done extensive work in the community to help strengthen the trust in the police.
I haven't come across many people who don't trust at least one police officer.
True.
Most people have one somewhere in the force that they trust.
True.
So if we have 2 million of them who trust one, I wonder how many are really trustworthy. In every survey that is done, the trust for the police who are in the community is, there's like a 20 to 25% spread between the trust for them higher than the national force. You know what that means? Who you know, you feel one way about. And who you hear about, you feel another way about.
True.
So that's a very curious thing.
Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, Audley Gordon, is rejecting the notion that the Auditor General discovered irregularities at some of the company's special projects. Here's Truston Grizzle with more in this report.
The National Solid Waste Management Authority NSWMA has taken issue with certain aspects of the recent publishing of the findings of the Auditor General's Department Performance Report on the operations of the entity. Executive Director of the NSWMA, Audley Gordon, notes that while the organization is not where they want to be, the operations are far better than they were a few years ago.
We are doing much better at managing disposal sites now. And I say this without fear of contradiction, because the records are clear. We are putting out fire at a much faster rate, thanks to the improvement in our operations and the different strategies that we have employed as we seek to upgrade our disposal facility. Same upgrade that resulted in us achieving permits for 3 of the 8 sites. Now, Rome was not built in a day. 6 years ago, there was no permit at any site. We now have 3 with applications in for the remaining 5. There is an argument to be made that all the sites don't have permits. That was true one time. Now 3 of the 8 have permits. And that's the current situation. In another year, maybe, if you have this conversation with me, all the sites may have permit. Because we are working towards that. But this is where we are in the management of our disposal site. We can say to Jamaica that in the last 3-4 years, we have contained fires that hither before would have gone on for 3-4 weeks. Don't forget, when Kingston was blanketed with smoke and schools have to close, those days are behind us now because of how we're managing the disposal facilities.
He revealed that the authority has been monitoring itself and has called in the police on 2 occasions over the last 5 years.
We, acting upon a tip from a staff member, asked our internal auditor to do a spot audit into a particular department. It turns out that we found information, saw evidence which were very uncomfortable to us. What did we do? We immediately worked it through the processes that we have here in terms of the governance structure, and the board ultimately, upon reviewing the audit, decided on a course of action. That matter was reported to the police and is now under investigation. The Auditor General did not discover that. We discovered that months before we saw the Auditor General show up here. The police was investigating months before the Auditor General came in here, started any work here, before the Auditor would have discovered or would have found out. As a matter of fact, the Auditor General report piggyback on our internal audit report for most of the information about that particular project. I am proud of my team that in 5 years we have uncovered 2 sets of glaring irregularity, and we didn't sweep them under the carpet. We didn't try to spin them. Instead, we do our duty to the taxpayer by reporting them to the police. Both are still under investigation. So I want to dispel the notion that the Auditor General came down here and discovered something that we already discovered and report to the police, and the matter is being actively investigated.
He further indicated that through an internal audit, an instance of corruption was discovered, and the authority took the relevant steps to report this to the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA.
We are very happy that the Auditor General was able to endorse our attire core. What's attire? A-T-T-I-R-E. A for accountability, T for transparency, T for teamwork, I for integrity, R for respect, E for excellence. It is our endorsement of the A in attire, accountability, that we would have policed ourselves and discover things that we find unsavory, uncomfortable, distasteful, unacceptable. And we took the bold action that we did. I didn't expect the Auditor General to commend us on that. We're not here seeking accolades. We are here putting the truth forward that even the Auditor General's own report endorsed the fact that the new NSWMA is policing itself and taking the appropriate action to safeguard the taxpayers' monies and to ensure that the public get value for money. There's a lot of argument being made also about lack of controls around the projects. Now, what is the truth? The truth is that we have a very robust procurement department that meets monthly and assess all projects that are done here. We are sending our reports, quarterly reports, that we must do. It's called a QC report, I think. We must do that, and we do that every quarter. We have not been rebuked for any breach in that regard.
The NSWMA welcomed the Auditor General Department's report and recommendations, as according to Mr. Gordon, they confirm that the organization is operating under its core values: attire, accountability, transparency, integrity, respect, excellence. Reporting for Mello TV, I'm Truston Grizzle.
The Ministry of Local Government, in collaboration with the Office of Disaster and Preparedness Management, ODPEM, yesterday hosted a disaster preparedness town hall meeting in the parish of St. Anne. In addressing the audience at the United Church in Runaway Bay, Portfolio Minister Desmond McKenzie informed that the parish of St. Anne is listed to receive a new water truck. He disclosed that this is because several communities do not have access to piped water.
We'll be trucking water to some of the communities that I have outlined since night. And these areas that we're going to be trucking the water to is because those communities don't have access to pipe water. We have money in the Ministry of Local Government that will be providing water to these communities. St. Anne is one of the parishes that is listed to receive a brand new water truck. The approval for the purchase of the truck was given on Tuesday. So there is some level of relief coming to areas of St. Anne that is in need of water. Bensington is one such place. Bamboo, Burbridge, Alexandria, Dry Harbor, Limehall. That is not the answer to the problem, and the government is working on an overall plan to take water into various communities, but it's going to take some time.
He also revealed that the market in Alexandria will be rebuilt as soon as the Ministry of Local Government receives an estimated cost for the project.
And disaster is not just about hurricane, earthquake, flood. We have a disaster that is of real concern. A man-made disaster which is out of indiscipline, ignorance, and disregard for the rules of the country. We are paying a severe price for this level of indiscipline that has taken over our roads. We are losing lives young men, and I listened to the presentation from the unit, and I'm concerned. Because yesterday, there was a major motor vehicle accident on the Mandela Highway that claimed 2 more lives. And right around the country, we are seeing this increase in fatalities and accidents on our roads. And I believe that as a country, we need to recognize what is happening.
Further to his presentation, Minister Mackenzie described traffic accidents as man-made disasters in Jamaica.
The other issues that really hurt me today was when I visited 2 markets, the one in Cave Valley and the one in Alexandria. The one in Alexandria, the persons who were there kept asking me, when is the market going to be repaired? And my answer tonight to Alexandria, as soon as the estimate is submitted to the Ministry of Local Government, we will move to have the Alexandria market repaired for the use of the vendors. There is enough space for the taxis who clog up the town of Alexandria to go in to that location. And I've said it to the councillors and to the MP and to the mayor. We're not going to spend money to renovate the market, fix it, because it is literally a new market, and put in the requisite transportation facility for persons to still remain out on the streets in Alexandria. That's not going to happen.
For his part, Director of the Meteorological Service in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Evan Thompson, noted that the parish is being constantly monitored for natural phenomena to adequately prepare for disasters.
I wanted to point out that even in this parish of St. Anne, we do monitor. We don't only monitor using a radar and only using the satellite, but we use a number of gauges that are located right across the country in every parish. And St. Anne is one of the parishes that we are constantly monitoring. So we have eyes everywhere. We are watching to see what is happening everywhere. And we always try to increase and improve the measuring of these hazards or of these phenomena as we go along. I wanted to point out that we have 13 rainfall gauges that are spread out across this parish. We also have 7 automatic weather stations that are located in this parish. And my understanding is there is one actually in Runaway Bay that is helping us to understand what are the weather conditions that are occurring in this section of the parish, telling us when rainfall is occurring, telling us what the temperature is at that point in the area, and also even telling us what kind of wind flow you are having in this area. So we are monitoring very carefully. I also wanted to point out that we are continuing our investment in St. Anne because over the past 2 to 3 months, we have installed three automatic weather stations in this parish. And so we will continue the work, spreading out across the country and improving the way that we collect our data so that we can represent, we can see what is happening. It is important that we know what is happening before we can project into the future. We have to look to see what are the conditions now, how things are changing, and then what we expect in the future. That's why we can do our forecasting. And as you know just as well as I that our forecasting is the best that you can see anywhere, right? Whenever we tell you it's going to rain, you get rain. And when we tell you you're not going to get rain, you don't get any.
Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Matthew Samuda, recently visited the Torado Heights water pump in St. James. Here's Truston Grizzle with more in this story.
In his recent visit of the Torada Heights water system in St. James, Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Matthew Samuda, indicated that the project is 90% complete. The project was a collaboration of Rural Water and the National Water Commission (NWC) and provides some 100,000 gallons of water to approximately 300 residents.
The administration over the last 6 years has done a tremendous amount of technical work in improving the water supply right across the length and breadth of the country. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have a tremendous amount of work in front of us, but what you're seeing behind you is indeed a 90% completed project in Torada Heights, done in collaboration with Rural Water and indeed the National Water Commission. So what we're doing today, we're really inspecting the progress, both with this tank that you saw as well as the one that we stopped at before. The first one is Torada Heights 1, I believe this is Torada Heights 2. That one is 200,000 gallon capacity, this is 100,000 gallon capacity. So for this one we would have increased the gallon capacity fourfold for the citizens of Coral Gardens and Torada Heights. So this one in particular will service 300 plus existing customers. They'll have much better water supply, and for that we are happy. When the system that we would have left before is indeed complete, in about October, it'll service approximately 1,000 existing customers with better water supply, more reliable water supply. Important to note, between the two systems, we should create capacity, or should have created capacity, for an additional 500 customers to come on board, and we're doing the piping work for that. So we're particularly happy with the work and seeing it come together. There's obviously some finishing touches to go on, but we are ensuring that the work is indeed done.
In the meantime, Member of Parliament for South St. James, Homer Davis, noted that the pump also supplies water to citizens of Flower Hill in the parish. Additionally, both government officials used the opportunity to urge citizens to desist from stealing water from the facility.
Outside of Coral Garden and Torada Heights, the water is pumped from here to Flower Hill. So the people of Flower Hill gets water from here. So, Coral Garden and Torada Heights is on the flat, but we have to pump now up to Flower Hill. And for that, from reports, citizens are getting their fair supply of water up there. But what I'm hearing from Water Commission is that quite a number of persons haven't yet legally connected onto the system. So I will use this medium to appeal to them, right, to get connected legally onto the system. What you're seeing here is about $125 million that were spent, right? So I'll use this medium to appeal to them. Go into Water Commission, make your connection becomes legal, because without that we cannot maintain the system.
Just to encourage, we've been doing so at all of our recent water system commissionings. We need citizens who are paying for their water to be forthright and come forward when they see people stealing water. As Minister Davis would have mentioned, the systems aren't cheap. We want to maintain them. We want everybody to have flowing water through their pipe all the time. But it means that those who are stealing it have to come onto the system legally. So we're asking and appealing to citizens to come forward if they have information on those stealing water.
Mr. Samuda also pointed out that some 8 million gallons of water have been pumped to Flower Hill since September of last year.
So as I would have mentioned, the tank behind you is 100,000 gallons. It is right beside what would have been a 30,000 gallon tank before. So we've quadrupled the capacity at this particular pumping station. With the one that we would have seen right before, that is 200,000 gallons. So in essence, the government would have put in 300,000 gallons of storage capacity. When we checked the system a while ago, since this system has been completed, which is just recently done, September, 8 million gallons have been pumped to Flower Hill thus far. So you're seeing significant benefit and increase in the capacity of the NWC systems in this area. From $10 million to several $100 million. There is no shortage of projects. Now, we know the procurement process is sometimes slow. The implementation process has to take the time that the engineers require. But you'll be seeing a full rollout of water systems pretty much right from here to Westmoreland. And to be clear, this is island-wide that these developments are taking place. The NWC, Rural Water, the National Irrigation Commission are working around the clock to ensure that citizens have access to water. Potable water in homes, irrigation water in agriculture, and we're working around the clock to ensure persons have it, and we're investing behind it. As Minister Davis would have said, it's $125 million you're looking at, so just putting that on the table.
Reporting for Mello TV, I'm Truston Grizzle.
And those are the stories making the news. I'm Nicole Hales. Thanks for watching.